Hey guys, so I'm back again. I think the last time we talked I was finishing up my ACLS course. Everything went fine, had my mega code, my patient survived. So there aren't really a lot of other tips I can give you other than what I talked about on the previous video, other than during your mega code, just breathe and stay calm. That way you have some time to kind of, sort through, because if you start to panic, you're going to automatically forget everything. So just another quick update. This Tuesday I'll have the final for my emergency care course, and then I'll be going on to law and ethics, and I'm currently in my advanced patient assessment course. So that's going along pretty smoothly. And the last week or so I was a little bit busy just doing various different events and doing different walks, things like that. Last week my husband and I and a few friends actually went to the Vegas Strong Walk on the Strip for the victims that were affected and those that passed away in the Las Vegas shooting. I don't have footage of it here on my channel, but what I'll do, my husband actually has a separate channel where he does some vlogging and puts out videos occasionally. I'll link his channel below. That way you guys can check out that video if you're interested in seeing a little bit of footage from that day and a small piece of the walk and the vigil. And that also reminds me, definitely check out my Instagram, because I was posting a lot of clips of that night on my stories for my Instagram, as well as a few photos of the day. So I always have my Instagram link below, so you guys should definitely check it out if you kind of want to see what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis, because usually, even if I'm not posting here, I've got photos, or occasionally I'll post some educational information on my Instagram, as well as just random stories of what I'm doing throughout the week. So the other thing that I ended up doing last week, I went to a charity event called Bowl for Breath that is done through the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Now, cystic fibrosis is a recessive genetic disorder, meaning both parents of a child need to have the gene that encodes for cystic fibrosis for the child to be affected. Now, currently in the US, there are over about 30,000 people that are affected and 1,000 new diagnoses every year. So cystic fibrosis, what actually happens in the body, there's an issue between chloride and sodium chloride and sodium transport across the cell membrane, and what that actually ends up doing is creating a very viscous mucus within the organs. And it leads to a lot of issues, because the primary organs it affects are the lungs, the pancreas, the liver, and the intestines. So as you can imagine, that causes a lot of really severe digestive issues. So a lot of people with CF need to take handfuls of enzymes every time they eat so their body can properly digest and get nutrients from the food, as well as, obviously, it's going to create a lot of breathing problems. It causes people with cystic fibrosis to get a lot of really serious lung and respiratory tract infections, and many people in the later stages of the disease process actually end up needing to get lung transplants. Now, something that's really interesting, about 65 years or so ago, the average life expectancy for cystic fibrosis, most children didn't even make it to grade school. They would pass away before they even got old enough to go into grade school. But because of all of the medical advancements that have been made, and because of organizations like the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, which does a ton of really amazing events throughout the year to raise awareness and raise funds for research and to help those that do have cystic fibrosis, because treatment is very expensive, the average life expectancy has gone above 40 years of age, and some even live well into their 50s and 60s. So that's a huge advancement within actually a very short period of time. So it's really important to go to different events like this and help raise awareness, help raise those funds so that there can be continued advancements. It was a really cool event that we went to. I think I already said it was called Bowl for Breath. So basically we went to go bowling and just hang out with classmates and my directors, and we got to meet some really amazing people that actually are involved in the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, as well as a few people that are currently living with cystic fibrosis. And it was really amazing because they were so willing to share their story and kind of tell us what they went through on a day-to-day basis, talking about, having to do treatments for up to 6 hours a day, if not longer, depending on how they were feeling, and things like not knowing that they had cystic fibrosis when they were a kid because they would go to the doctor and they would constantly say they had asthma or lung infections or a really severe cold when in fact it was cystic fibrosis. So it's really important for us as providers, once we get out there and start working, to really pay attention to every little detail. Because although many people with cystic fibrosis are diagnosed at birth or by up to 2 years of age, so they're pretty familiar with their routines and what's going on, and they know exactly what everything is, it's important to never stop thinking about it, because some people could go half their life and never know, they know that something's wrong, but they don't know necessarily that it's cystic fibrosis. If we're not paying close enough attention to the symptoms, we don't want something like that to slip, because if we can help make sure that people are getting the proper treatment, it's going to make their quality of life so much better. And it's really important to remember, also, it's not easy living with a disease. You have to be really careful going out. You're really susceptible to infections, especially respiratory tract infections. So a common cold for me that might, make me feel a little under the weather for a couple of days is a really serious issue to people that have some type of chronic illness like cystic fibrosis. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what I was doing the last week or so, because I've been a little MIA. But if you guys have any questions, or if you guys are involved in any organizations through your school or even on your own personal time, definitely let me know what you guys like to do down below. And also make sure to check out your local Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, see what they're doing throughout the year so you can participate in any of the awesome events they do, such as the Great Strides Walk. They are involved in a lot of galas and charities and auctions and things like that. So even if you can't participate and raise enough, or you don't feel like you might not be able to contribute financially, check out their volunteer opportunities, because there's always a need for volunteers as well. Alright guys, I will talk to you next time. Hey guys, and then I will be going on to,